I just cried for like an hour thinking about me from a year ago and like all the shit I went through, and like words cannot describe the way it felt to be in my body and like all of the symptoms I was having and how horrible it was and how I felt like my body was torturing me, and all the fear and like truly thinking I was gonna die every day. And like I think I was having like anaphylaxis, having panic attacks and like suffocating, not being able to breathe, having it really affect my mood, suffocating every time I tried to sleep, not being able to sleep, and then just like losing all faith in doctors and faith in the medical industry. I don't know what's happening to my throat. And I think sometimes I want to believe that it wasn't that bad because like I don't want to think that it could happen again. And I try to tell myself that I like almost warped it in my memory. And I do believe it would never happen again, but for different reasons. But the reality is I know how bad it was. I remember how bad it was. And I think it's really important to validate that version of myself and not try to like tell her that what she experienced wasn't real. And I'll always have so much love for that version of me. And I think in the past when I would go through difficult things, like in high school, I would try to just like run away from that version of myself and pretend it didn't happen, pretend it didn't exist, and just try to separate myself from that version of me as much as possible in that phase of my life. But I think it's really important now to like integrate all these versions of me and to validate them and face the pain that I experienced and validate that. And yeah, like that version of me is the reason that I'm able to be so at peace and happy now. And like she's the one that had to do all the hard work and go through all the horrible things. And I never want to invalidate her and tell her like that she was being over dramatic or whatever, because I remember how bad it was and no one else will ever know, because it's not something you can put into words the way that my body felt. It was so horrible and it went on for so long, and there was no, I stopped believing in a higher power because I was praying all the time and nothing was happening. And I stopped believing in doctors in the medical industry and even holistic doctors and stuff. I felt like they didn't even have the answers, and in the past I thought that they were better, but I really like gave up on everything and felt so hopeless. And I just remember the fear of like thinking I was gonna die every day, just thinking I was gonna die, but also like kind of wishing that I just would, but like also I just was like, I liked my life a few weeks ago, like why can't I just go back to that? But now I'm so grateful that my life is so different and that I didn't just go back to that, because I'm so much like happier and healthier and really proud of the person I've become. But it was so scary to like truly think I was gonna die and to be suffocating and like to think I wasn't gonna have enough air to breathe. Like so many times I didn't think like someone could feel that horrible and not like drop dead very soon, because it was like a level of discomfort and pain that I had never experienced before. And I've dealt with chronic illness for like 10 years to the point where it's really affected my life and prevented me from like working normally. Like I've had fatigue to the point where it just makes life completely unenjoyable, but this was like torture every second. I guess it wasn't every second, but it was very often, daily. And there were at least like dozens of times where I would have these like, I think it was anaphylaxis, but like kind of these panic attacks where I felt like I was suffocating, like I was gonna die, and like I would get really lightheaded and literally have like 20 symptoms at once, like tingling body and pain all over my body and feel like someone's squeezing my organs and my lungs, and pain, back pain, pain in all my joints and like arms and legs, just so many things at once. And it was so weird and so many weird sensations, and it was really scary. And then also I learned that like histamine binds to your serotonin receptors. Excess histamine binds to your serotonin receptors. So I always would feel like I could be positive when I wasn't having a reaction, and I could try to like stay hopeful. But then when it would happen, it was like I always just felt like it completely changed my mood, and it felt very chemical. So that makes sense now. Like it actually does completely like make you feel hopeless and fearful and depressed because you don't have serotonin in your brain in the way that you should. I mean, I doubt I'm gonna post this, but I just felt like I wanted to document this moment for some reason. I feel like that was just like the last version of me that was still really traumatized, that I hadn't really fully healed yet, even though obviously healing is like a never-ending journey. But yeah, I feel like I try to sometimes like push away these different versions of me that make me uncomfortable or that like are painful to look at. But I think it's really important that we like validate all these versions of us. And like, yeah, I'll always have so much love for her. And like, I know what she experienced was real, and I'm the only one who will ever know how bad it actually was. And so I'm trying to like telepathically tell her like everything works out. It's hard to say like it's worth it when it was like so many months of suffering, but like it really does feel worth it. The emotions I feel now, I feel so happy and life is beautiful, and like the way I've grown is just insane. But when I really remember how bad it was, it's just something, it's just wild to think about. And I remember like even thinking, even if I figure this out, even if I like find the cure, like how will I know that it's gonna help others? Because I was thinking like the only way that it would be worth it to like suffer that much would be if I help like a lot of other people, because that just felt like the only way that it would like balance out, you know what I mean? But I was just like, how would I ever know that what I did is like gonna help other people and work on other people? And I remember thinking that even, but it did all kind of work out, and I feel like I'm able to help others now. And it like, I don't know, I honestly like cry happy tears a lot of days of my life, because I just feel so happy now and grateful and at peace and confident, and just feel like I healed all these wounds I had my whole life and like figured things out. And I don't know, I also just felt like such a burden. I felt so unworthy of love in that state. I felt like so scared that I was gonna lose everyone in my life on top of everything I was already losing, and so I didn't want to open up to people. I didn't want people to take care of me and help me, even though that's what I really felt like I needed. I really like needed someone to love me and care for me, and I didn't really fully let people do that or like accept that. And I feel sad for that version of myself, that she didn't like get the love that she deserved and the validation that she deserved, because she did deserve it. And I realize that now, that like we're all always worthy of love and validation and everything, even in our worst states, even when we're sick and tired or whatever it is. Like I used to think I just wasn't worthy in my worst states, but I am. And you know, people really should have like loved me harder in that moment, and I feel like people didn't. But I feel like that was just a reflection of me, because I couldn't love myself and because I didn't feel worthy of it. And I just didn't even feel like I could fully open up to most people, because it just felt so dark. And I basically rejected myself, so I assumed that other people would reject me. But yeah, today was very healing, crying about this for a while. And it was after I did like an inner child meditation to connect with that version of myself, because I realized that I really needed to connect to that version of myself and heal her. Then I started reading like old texts that kind of like reminded me of what I was going through and like the headspace I was in, and also seeing the way that like other people were reacting to it. And I just like finally saw it for what it was and like cried about it, because at the time my perspective was so like painted with fear and insecurity that I feel like I didn't see things clearly. But now I can like see things clearly and just like feel sad for that version of me and really like validate and love her. If I do end up posting this video and something in this resonated with you or helped you or something, or you relate to it, like please leave a comment. I would love to know. I feel like it's really important to face our pain in order to heal from it, and it's so important to validate yourself, and that includes all versions of yourself. Don't try to change the narrative and put it in a more positive light. Or sometimes we also like villainize people and we like want to believe that things were worse than they were. Like try your best to see things clearly, and our perspective is always going to be shifting, and at times we're supposed to be like angry, at times we're supposed to be sad, at times we're supposed to be happy. But try to allow yourself to like see that full picture and feel all those feelings, instead of trying to see it as one way in order to like make yourself feel better or protect yourself in the future. Like I think I just wanted to believe like it was so bad because I was stressed and I was like overreacting, because I want to believe that I could never feel that way again, because it's like terrifying and horrible. But the reality is, I know like what my experience was. I know it was real. I know that I felt those things, and yeah, I'm sure that me being anxious like didn't help, but like I know there was something that started it, and it was very much not just anxiety. I mean, they literally gave me Xanax and I still couldn't breathe. But also when we are anxious in this constant state of stress, our bodies really struggle to repair themselves and to recover from whatever it is that we need to recover from. And so that's why it's so important to get out of that state of anxiety. But don't listen to the doctors that tell you it's just anxiety, because you know yourself better than anyone. You know what you're experiencing, and make sure that you're validating yourself at the very least, because the world might not, but you need to do that for yourself. And trust your own judgment of things, and trust your emotions, and know that all of your emotions are valid. I hope you have an amazing day.